Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The part of a piece of clothing that covers the thighs. His lap was covered with food stains. Take up with the tongue. The cat lapped up the milk. Touching with the tongue. The dog's laps were warm and wet. A flap that lies over another part. The lap of the shingles should be at least 10 inches. Pass the tongue over. Movement once around a course. He drove an extra lap just for insurance. Wash or flow against. Move with or cause to move with a whistling or hissing sound. An area of control or responsibility. The job fell right in my lap. Lie partly over or alongside of something or of one another. The upper side of the thighs of a seated person. He picked up the little girl and plopped her down in his lap. The part of a piece of clothing that covers the thighs. Take up with the tongue. Take up with the tongue. The cub licked the milk from its mother's breast. Touching with the tongue. Pass the tongue over. The dog licked her hand. Boxing, a blow with the fist. Find the solution to a problem or question, or understand the meaning of. A salt deposit that animals regularly lick. Beat thoroughly and conclusively in a competition or fight. We licked the other team on Sunday. A flap that lies over another part. A representation of common ground between theories or phenomena. There was no overlap between their proposals. Coincide partially or wholly. Our vacations overlap. Extend over and cover a part of. The roofs of the houses overlap in this crowded city. The property of partial coincidence in time. An unofficial association of people or groups. A road junction at which traffic streams circularly around a central island. Form or draw a circle around. Encircle the errors. Street names for flunitrazepam. Any circular or rotating mechanism. The machine punched out metal circles. Movement once around a course. A curved section or tier of seats in a hall or theater or opera house, usually the first tier above the orchestra. They had excellent seats in the dress circle. Ellipse in which the two axes are of equal length. A plane curve generated by one point moving at a constant distance from a fixed point. He calculated the circumference of the circle. Move in a circular path above someone or something. The plane circled, looking for a landing spot. Something approximating the shape of a circle. The chairs were arranged in a circle. Travel around something. Circle the globe. An electrical device that provides a path for electrical current to flow. A journey or route all the way around a particular place or area. We took a quick circuit of the park. A racetrack for automobile races. Movement once around a course. The boundary line encompassing an area or object. An established itinerary of venues or events that a particular group of people travel to. She's a familiar name on the club circuit. Law. a judicial division of a state or the United States, so called because originally judges traveled and held court in different locations, one of the 12 groups of states in the United States that is covered by a particular circuit court of appeals. Make a circuit. They were circuiting about the state. Wash one's face and hands. Wash or flow against. The waves laved the shore. Cleanse one's body with soap and water. The erosive process of washing away soil or gravel by water, as from a roadway. From the house they watched the washout of their newly seeded lawn by the water. Make moist. The flow of air that is driven backwards by an aircraft propeller. Garments or white goods that can be cleaned by laundering. Cleanse with a cleaning agent, such as soap and water. Remove by the application of water or other liquid and soap or some other cleaning agent. He washed the dirt from his coat. The work of cleansing, usually with soap and water. Wash or flow against. Clean with some chemical process. The dry bed of an intermittent stream, as at the bottom of a canyon. A watercolor made by applying a series of monochrome washes one over the other. Cleanse one's body with soap and water. Admit to testing or proof. This silly excuse won't wash in traffic court. Any enterprise in which losses and gains cancel out. At the end of the year, the accounting department showed that it was a wash. Apply a thin coating of paint, metal, etc., to a thin coat of water-based paint. Be capable of being washed. Does this material wash? Form by erosion. The river washed a ravine into the mountainside. Move by or as if by water. The swollen river washed away the footbridge. Separate dirt or gravel from precious minerals. To cleanse itself or another animal by licking. The cat washes several times a day. Elegant and fashionable. A Swiss pastry shop on the Rue du Bac. Move with or cause to move with a whistling or hissing sound. A brushing or rustling sound. The noise produced by the sudden rush of a fluid, a gas or liquid. Move with or cause to move with a whistling or hissing sound. The curtain swooshed open. Move with or cause to move with a whistling or hissing sound. The bubbles swashed around in the glass. A covering made of cloth. Propose a toast to. Let's drink to the new year. Be fascinated or spellbound by. Pay close attention to. The mother drinks in every word of her son on the stage. Any liquid suitable for drinking. The act of swallowing. He took a drink of his beer and smacked his lips. The act of drinking alcoholic beverages to excess. Drink was his downfall. Consume alcohol. We were up drinking all night. Drink excessive amounts of alcohol. Be an alcoholic. The husband drinks and beats his wife. Take in liquids. The patient must drink several liters each day. Any large deep body of water. He jumped into the drink and had to be rescued. A single serving of a beverage. I asked for a hot drink. take gas, light or heat into a solution. Take in, also metaphorically. Take in liquids. Receive into the mind and retain. The event of something coming in contact with the body. The act of putting two things together with no space between them. Arousing effect. His gratitude was simple and touching. A distinguishing style. This room needs a woman's touch. Make a more or less disguised reference to. Consume. She didn't touch her food all night. The event of something coming in contact with the body. He longed for the touch of her hand. Be relevant to. A suggestion of some quality. There was a touch of sarcasm in his tone. Have an effect upon. The act of putting two things together with no space between them. At his touch the room filled with lights. Be equal to in quality or ability. Your performance doesn't even touch that of your colleagues. A communicative interaction. He got in touch with his colleagues. A slight attack of illness. He has a touch of rheumatism. Affect emotionally. I was touched by your kind letter of sympathy. The faculty by which external objects or forces are perceived through contact with the body, especially the hands. Only sight and touch enable us to locate objects in the space around us. Tamper with. Don't touch my CDs. To extend as far as. The chair must not touch the wall. A slight but appreciable amount. This dish could use a touch of garlic. Be in direct physical contact with. Make contact. The two buildings touch. The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. She likes the touch of silk on her skin. Color lightly. Cause to be in brief contact with. He touched his toes to the horse's flanks. Comprehend. He could not touch the meaning of the poem. Deal with. Usually used with a form of negation. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. Deftness in handling matters. He has a master's touch. Make physical contact with. Come in contact with. She never touched her husband. Perceive via the tactile sense. Helen Keller felt the physical world by touching people and objects around her. The act of soliciting money, as a gift or loan. He watched the beggar trying to make a touch. The feel of mechanical action. This piano has a wonderful touch. The motion made by flapping up and down. A movable airfoil that is part of an aircraft wing, used to increase lift or drag. Move with a flapping motion. The bird's wings were flapping. Make a fuss, be agitated. An excited state of agitation. There was a terrible flap about the theft. Move in a wavy pattern or with a rising and falling motion. Move with a thrashing motion. The bird flapped its wings. A movable piece of tissue partly connected to the body. Any broad, thin and limber covering attached at one edge, hangs loose or projects freely. He wrote on the flap of the envelope. Move noisily. Flags flapped in the strong wind. Pronounce with a flap, of alveolar sounds. A light touch with the hands. Anything that happens suddenly or by chance without an apparent cause. The pregnancy was a stroke of bad luck. The maximum movement available to a pivoted or reciprocating piece by a cam. Sports. The act of swinging or striking at a ball with a club or racket or bat or cue or hand. It took 2 strokes to get out of the bunker. A punctuation mark, used to separate related items of information. A sudden loss of consciousness resulting when the rupture or occlusion of a blood vessel leads to oxygen lack in the brain. A light touch. A mark made on a surface by a pen, pencil, or paintbrush. She applied the paint in careful strokes. Any one of the repeated movements of the limbs and body used for locomotion in swimming or rowing. A single complete movement. Golf. The unit of scoring in golf is the act of hitting the ball with a club. Nicholas won by 3 strokes. Row at a particular rate. Strike a ball with a smooth blow. The oarsman nearest the stern of the shell who sets the pace for the rest of the crew. Touch lightly and repeatedly, as with brushing motions. He stroked his long beard. Treat gingerly or carefully. You have to stroke the boss. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. We traveled from Rome to Naples by bus. Travel upon or across. Travel the oceans. Undertake a journey or trip. A movement through space that changes the location of something. Self-propelled movement. Make a trip for pleasure. The act of going from one place to another. He enjoyed selling but he hated the travel. Travel from place to place, as for the purpose of finding work, preaching, or acting as a judge. Undergo transportation as in a vehicle. We traveled north on Route 508. The power or ability to move. Self-propelled movement. Something that resembles a flowing stream in moving continuously. The museum had planned carefully for the flow of visitors. Fall or flow in a certain way. Her long black hair flowed down her back. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. The semen begins to appear in males and to be emitted at the same time of life that the catamenia begin to flow in females. Move or progress freely as if in a stream. The crowd flowed out of the stadium. The amount of fluid that flows in a given time. Dominant course, suggestive of running water, of successive events or ideas. The flow of thought. The motion characteristic of fluids, liquids or gases. Undergo menstruation. The act of flowing or streaming, continuous progression. Move along, of liquids. Water flowed into the cave. Any uninterrupted stream or discharge. Be abundantly present. The champagne flowed at the wedding. Cause to flow. The artist flowed the washes on the paper. Cover or swamp with water. Phonetics, an individual sound unit of speech without concern as to whether or not it is a phoneme of some language. Logically valid. A sound argument. Measure the depth of a body of water with a sounding line. The subjective sensation of hearing something. He strained to hear the faint sounds. Make a certain noise or sound. Having legal efficacy or force. A sound title to the property. In excellent physical condition. A sound mind in a sound body. The audible part of a transmitted signal. Of sleep, deep and complete. A sound sleeper. A narrow channel of the sea joining two larger bodies of water. Exercising or showing good judgment. A sound approach to the problem. Utter with vibrating vocal cords. A large ocean inlet or deep bay. The main body of the sound ran parallel to the coast. Announce by means of a sound. Sound the alarm. Appear in a certain way. This sounds interesting. Cause to sound. Sound the bell. Complete. Thorough. Politicians have no sound grasp of technology issues. Financially secure and safe. Sound investments. Free from moral defect. A man of sound character. Give off a certain sound or sounds. This record sounds scratchy. In good condition, free from defect or damage or decay. A sound timbre. Mechanical vibrations transmitted by an elastic medium. Falling trees make a sound in the forest even when no one is there to hear them. The particular auditory effect produced by a given cause. The sound of rain on the roof. The sudden occurrence of an audible event. The sound awakened them. Vigorous or severe. A sound thrashing. Follow a certain course. How did your interview go? Have a particular form. As the saying goes. Move away from a place into another direction. Perform as expected when applied. The washing machine won't go unless it's plugged in. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. How fast does your new car go? Be in the right place or situation. Let's put healthcare where it belongs, under the control of the government. A usually brief attempt. A board game for two players who place counters on a grid. The object is to surround and so capture the opponent's counters. Pass from physical life and lose all bodily attributes and functions necessary to sustain life. Make a certain noise or sound. Lead, extend, or afford access. This door goes to the basement. Street names for methylenedioxymethamphetamine. Continue to live and avoid dying. Begin or set in motion. Ready, set, go. Stop operating or functioning. To be spent or finished. The money had gone after a few days. A time period for working, after which you will be relieved by someone else. It's my go. Blend or harmonize. This sofa won't go with the chairs. Go through in search of something. Search through someone's belongings in an unauthorized way. Enter or assume a certain state or condition. Get going. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Can I go now? Give support to, or make a choice of, one out of a group or number. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. His knowledge doesn't go very far. Follow a procedure or take a course. We should go farther in this matter. Be the right size or shape. Fit correctly or as desired. Progress by being changed. The speech has to go through several more drafts. Be abolished or discarded. These ugly billboards have to go. Be or continue to be in a certain condition. Be ranked or compare. This violinist is as good as Juilliard-trained violinists go. Be spent. Functioning correctly and ready for action. All systems are go. Pass, fair, or elapse, of a certain state of affairs or action. How is it going? A branch of knowledge. A particular kind of commercial enterprise. They are outstanding in their field. The area that is visible, as through an optical instrument. A particular environment or walk of life. The space around a radiating body within which its electromagnetic oscillations can exert force on another similar body not in contact with it. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The home crowd cheered when Princeton took the field. A place where planes take off and land. Extensive tract of level open land. He longed for the fields of his youth. A region where a battle is being, or has been, fought. They made a tour of Civil War battlefields. A region in which active military operations are in progress. The army was in the field awaiting action. A geographic region, land or sea, under which something valuable is found. The diamond fields of South Africa. All of the horses in a particular horse race. All the competitors in a particular contest or sporting event. Answer adequately or successfully. The lawyer fielded all questions from the press. A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed. He planted a field of wheat. Catch or pick up balls in baseball or cricket. Computer science, a set of one or more adjacent characters comprising a unit of information. Mathematics, a set of elements such that addition and multiplication are commutative and associative and multiplication is distributive over addition and there are two elements 0 and 1. The set of all rational numbers as a field. Play as a fielder. Select, a team or individual player, for a game. The Buckeyes fielded a young new quarterback for the Rose Bowl. Somewhere, away from a studio or office or library or laboratory, where practical work is done or data is collected. Anthropologists do much of their work in the field. A particular environment or walk of life. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A playing field where sports events take place. The central area of an ancient Roman amphitheater where contests and spectacles were held. especially an area that was strewn with sand. The, usually elliptical, path described by one celestial body in its revolution about another. He plotted the orbit of the Moon. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. In the political orbit of a world power. A particular environment or walk of life. He's out of my orbit. Move in an orbit. The Moon orbits around the Earth. The bony cavity in the skull containing the eyeball. The path of an electron around the nucleus of an atom. The apparent surface of the imaginary sphere on which celestial bodies appear to be projected. A particular aspect of life or activity. A particular environment or walk of life. His social sphere is limited. The geographical area in which one nation is very influential. Any spherically shaped artifact. A solid figure bounded by a spherical surface, including the space it encloses. A three-dimensional closed surface such that every point on the surface is equidistant from the center. A part of an animal that has a special function or is supplied by a given artery or nerve. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. It was a mountainous area. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. The area of a rectangle. A particular environment or walk of life. It was a closed area of employment. A part of a structure having some specific characteristic or function. The spacious cooking area provided plenty of room for servants. A subject of study. It was his area of specialization. People in general, especially a distinctive group of people with some shared interest. Mathematics, the set of values of the independent variable for which a function is defined. The content of a particular field of knowledge. A particular environment or walk of life. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. His domain extended into Europe. Assume a reclining position. Lie down on the bed until you feel better. Originate, in. A statement that deviates from or perverts the truth. Have a place in relation to something else. The fate of Bosnia lies in the hands of the West. Norwegian diplomat who was the first Secretary General of the United Nations, 1896 to 1968. Be and remain in a particular state or condition. Lie dormant. Be located or situated somewhere. Occupy a certain position. Be lying, be prostrate, be in a horizontal position. Position or manner in which something is situated. Tell an untruth. Pretend with intent to deceive. Don't lie to your parents.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.